Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Alright, in this video I am going to be discussing, inshallah, a book which I recently purchased. Let's see if it'll show up for you. It is the Qur'an misinterpreted, mistranslated, and misread. The Aramaic language of the Qur'an by Dr. Gabriel Sawma. And he is a doctor in Semitic languages. I'm not sure which university he teaches that. Perhaps I should check. And the assertion of this book, it's like that of the Luxembourg study, which is the assertion is that the Qur'an was written in a pidgin language, like a mix between Arabic, like a Proto-Arabic, and Syriac. And of course, there's a lot of issues with such an assertion, which I will be discussing in my book, inshallah, and the series of videos which will be going along with that. Anyway, we're going to, here's a sample of some of the work that I've been doing in regards to some of his assertions. What he does is he lists different verses from the Qur'an, and then he goes to the Aramaic and asserts that these Arabic words have a Aramaic meaning which is contrary to the Arabic meaning, and then that's the original meaning of the text. And one of his assertions also is that the original Hijazi script that the Qur'an was written in was much like the Syriac script, which and he'll swap letters and say, well, this is actually the Syriac letter and whatnot. But even the undotted Arabic letter without the diacritical dots doesn't really resemble the Syriac letter, so I'm not sure where he's coming with that assertion, but that I'll save that for another video. Anyhow, here is this is from page 314 in his book. It says, here's the Quran, Bismillah, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فسجدوا إلا إبليس كان من الجن. So I'm going to read that again. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فسجدوا إلا إبليس كان من الجن. And then he says, following that, he makes the assertion. Here's what he said. He said, the Arabic word al-jinni is actually not jinn as such, as interpreted by the Arabs as being a being that is unseen, and it's like a spiritual or an ethereal being. And he cites the Zechariah 9:15 out of the biblical text, and the word he cites is yajin, which in this Hebrew context means to guard or to defend. And thus he asserts that the Arabic verse is actually saying, he says, the Qur'an is saying, and we said we said to the royalty, the angels, prostrate yourselves to Adam. They did, except Iblis, who was of the defenders. Now, one of the issues with this interpretation is with a closer examination of the text, even within the Aramaic, the Arabic meaning, the Aramaic is actually equivalent to the Arabic meaning. And I wrote this in response. The author the author has also selected a narrow interpretation of Arabic jinn, in spite of Aramaic and Hebrew's usage of the word jinn, which are the exact equivalent to the Arabic usage of jinn, the jinn being a class of beings which are often withdrawn from human interaction and hidden from sight. In Zechariah 9:15, a careful examination of Yajin yields results in support of that of the classical Arabic commentators. The Hebrew root Jim or Jemel Nun is equivalent to the Arabic root Jim Nun. The Hebrew root also carries the meaning to cover, to be hidden, to be unseen, to surround, and also to defend. Now, mind you, when one is defending, like at least in the English language, we say, like to my brother, I got you covered. So being covered and defend, they do overlap. And this is also the case in Hebrew. Then it says, then I said, the Gospel of John also attests to the Arabic usage as such for the word jinn. And this can be seen in John 3:13, and it reads as follows: Ishwa jir et jinni huwa leba kanesha. And that translates to Jesus, indeed, hidden he became, which is et jinni, he became, for in the assembly, or the masses, the multitude. And this word has it's equivalent to Arabic jinn and Hebrew jinn, except the root is jim or jemel nun aleph. And then Aramaic jinni also is used in regards to and then also to expand on the use of jinni. Aramaic jinni also is used in regards to false pagan gods in, here's the name of the manuscript, JS Mem 12:206, against the Jews on the great crime of Jerusalem. Text according to the edition of Michelin Albert Jacques de Sarouk, Homilies Center and Homilies Center Les Juifs. This is like French or something. And then it says, I cited it. It says number 174. And moving forward, it says, therefore, the proper interpretation would be of the Arabic Therefore, the proper Aramaic interpretation would be that of the Arabic. And here is the verse constructed in Aramaic. And of course, you'll notice differences between the Arabic and the Aramaic. Here is the verse constructed in Aramaic. This is what, if you said this Quranic verse in Arabic, this is what it would sound like in Aramaic. What they kulna le malakiya as sujudu le adama wa sujudu illa ablisa kana min the jinna وَفَسَّقَ and amar rabeh. And when we said to the angels, bow to Adam, and they bowed except Iblis, he be from the hidden, the jinn, and cut off fasaq against the command of his Lord. Fasaq in Arabic, or which is where you get fasikin, it's also in Aramaic, and you can find this in the Injil. It is the wicked doers, and the wicked doers are, of course, are cut off. So that's it. Aramaic, it gives us some extra dimension to the verse, but I'm sure that's in the Arabic etymologies as well. And so what the author does, and what he is guilty of doing again and again, is he will take an Aramaic word, and he'll take the Arabic word and say this should be in Aramaic, with the false assumption that the Qur'an was originally written in Aramaic. And he'll take the Arabic word, the Aramaic equivalent, and the Aramaic equivalent, let's say this word will have 5 different meanings, and he will only mention the 4 meanings that contradict the context of the Quranic verse, and leave the 5th. Like a case of that would be, he mentions in Surah Al-Anfal the word bushra, which would be good tidings. And he says this doesn't mean good tidings, this means man or flesh. And then he cites busra, instead of bushra, Aramaic bushra, he cites Aramaic busra. And if he would actually look and apply this logic evenly, in the Injil itself, the word busra is used for flesh, it is used for good tidings, gospel, and man. And so the Aramaic uses the word in the same way, in a variety of ways that is also found in the Qur'an. But he will ignore this in favor of a defective reading. And the reading is defective because he ignores the Aramaic meanings that are in agreement with the classical Arabic meanings, and thus giving the uninformed reader the impression that the Qur'an was originally in Aramaic and therefore would say something different, even if it was in Aramaic, which it was not. But if it was, the Aramaic would actually, in these cases, be saying the same thing as the classical Arabic. And in another example, which I'll go over briefly, in another verse, he goes to the word Rasul, which is messenger in Arabic, and he says, well, this actually is supposed to be Aramaic Rashal, which means relaxed. And he fails to acknowledge that within, and this can be found in any Aramaic lexicon, that Rasul is an Aramaic word for messenger. And so instead of accepting the Aramaic word, which is in agreement with the Quran, he will go to a word that is different, and thus making a defective reading. And I am not sure if this is poor scholarship in innocence, or if it is disinformation, and he's doing this to deceive the readers. I can't really make a judgment upon that right. I can't really make a judgment upon that right now. And then also, here is another verse, and this is from, he's talking about Surah 18 Al-Kahf, and this is on page 312 and 314, and it says, say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Alladhi anzalla alla abdihi al-kitab وَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ أَجًّا. And he goes on to say, the Arabic interpretation is, all praise belongs to Allah, who has sent down the book to his servant, and has not put therein any crookedness. Then he goes on to say, the Quranic word Ajan has been interpreted as crookedness, and it really comes from the Aramaic root, the Aramaic root, Gemel Noon, which means restrained, which means restrained, not to belong to a man. And then he goes on to say, the correct interpretation is, all praise belongs to Allah, who has sent the imperishable book to his servant. Now, we will explore the verse from Arabic and Aramaic in response to his assertion. And I wrote as follows: John Bethuy, Contra, Gabriel Sawma, and his book, the Qur'an misinterpreted, mistranslated, and misread, the Aramaic language of the Qur'an. And then I have the Qur'an here in Arabic, Qur'an 18:1. Alhamdulillah, alladhi anzala alla abdihi الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. Praise, the praise to Allah who sent down on his servant the book, and not made or put in it any crookedness. Now, I have made a construction of how this verse would be said in Aramaic language. Hamdalillah, Hamdalillah, Ladi Anzala Allah Abdihi the Kitaba Walam Yajal Lahu Wajah. Aramaic meaning. Praise to God, for to who flowed down, the book flowed down, who flowed down on his servant, the book, and nothing for in it twisted or gyrated. There's no gyration in the book, and gyration is another word for twisted, like twisting, turning, that's gyration. The author wrongly asserts that the Arabic awajan is the Syriac ajan, to be restrained. However, the Arabic root ain wal jim is equivalent to the biblical Hebrew root ain wal jim, which carries the meaning gyration, to make spiral, to make in a circle, and thus it is the root of the baked round cakes found in Ezekiel 4:12, and these cakes are called ta'ajana, or ta'ujana. The biblical king of Bashan, whose name was Uaj, stems from the same root. These round cakes are also mentioned in the Torah, Numbers 11:8 of Aramaic Targum 54002 FTVNU as Uajin, awajin, so it's plural, round cakes. Mind you, all circles are crooked because they're curved, crooked. Um, Therefore, even still, in Aramaic, the meaning of the verse remains the same as that of the classical Arabic Quranic commentators, contrary to the erroneous assertion of the author that the meaning has changed and that the verse was originally written in Aramaic. In response to the author's assertion, I have constructed the verse in Aramaic under the actual verse so that the structure may be examined. Of note, the Arabic lacks the definite article alif lam, the, el, and uses da instead. The Arabic construct alladhi, well, for who, does not exist as such within Aramaic, especially Syriac, as zel is lost, and left and only left in one mode, da. So a word like zekr, which is spelled with zel, the zel sound is in ancient Akkadian and ancient Ugarit, in these ancient stone tablets that are very much older than the Injil in Syriac. And so these Arabic sounds, he asserts that these Arabic sounds are the Arabians corrupted the Syriac Aramaic by adding extra sounds. But really, the Syrians actually lost these sounds, and these sounds actually exist in the older languages. So the Arabic is actually purer in that it contains these ancient sounds and modes of these ancient modes of phonetics that were lost in Syriac. Anyway, the Aramaic lacks a definite article L and uses da instead. The Arabic construct alladhi or allizi does not exist as such within Aramaic, especially Syriac, as the zel is lost and left one mode, del. However, within older Aramaic dialects, day, which is rendered zay in ancient Imperial and Babylonian Aramaic, thus linking it to Arabic al-ladi. For the sake of similitude, in the Aramaic construction of the verse, alazi has been rendered ledi, which is to for who, or lezi, which you would say in the ancient Akkadian, which is to for whom. And that is all for now, and I look forward to, inshallah, Lord willing, posting some more information on this book. And thank you for watching, and you have a nice day, and enjoy Ramadan. Masalama.